So how to use it? First of all, you're using it all the time. You need to be really aware of that, because when you become aware of that, then you start to realize that you have a power within you to create the life you choose. And because I have been a practitioner for a long time and a minister for some years, I get to talk to a lot of people, and everybody that talks to a practitioner or a minister really wants to change their life. And there are some times that you meet with somebody, and the minute you say, you could do this, I've already done that, that doesn't work. Or you could, no, I've done that, that doesn't work. I recently had a conversation with someone, and I said, could I play hardball with you? And they agreed. And my next question was, why are you comfortable in this situation that you have created? What makes it comfortable? Because we are that powerful. And that was my point. It wasn't about making the person right or wrong. It was each one of us is creating our life all the time. And so how we use it is to really, starting this morning with Anna's meditation, the first step is to listen. We all think we are so bright in our humanness, don't we? We have all the answers. And the truth is, as long as we keep thinking that, we will continue to create the chaos, if you will, that is our present life. Every single one of us. It is, like Susan said, about use me. It is about surrender. It is about letting go of this that we think is got all the answers, got all the brains, knows how to do everything, until we get that first tap. And then we get that second tap, and it's a little harder. The wake-up's a little bit louder. How many of you have been hit by a spiritual 2x4? Yeah, because you're ready, and there was a part of you that was asking for it. Because the universe, again, is just saying yes. So Mary Morrissey, I have the honor of facilitating Prosperity Plus 3 over the next 7 weeks. And she talks about a woman that comes into one of her dream building events. And when Mary does these events, if you don't know who Mary Morrissey is, she was a minister, started a church down in down in Oregon. A very successful ministry. Turns out she was married to a gentleman that was an embezzler, and she didn't know it. And he embezzled money from her church, and she lost her church. Now, publicly, how embarrassing would that be? And then privately, what a struggle personally to go through that. Just imagine if that just happened to somebody that, had a normal business. This was a very public business that affected a lot of people. And there were two roads she could have taken. She could have made herself a victim. Poor, pitiful me. How did this happen to me? I didn't deserve this. Or she could have taken ownership for it, which she did, and stand up and say, once she said, her first reaction was holding on to what was. Holding on to that church. How dare you, God, take my church away from me? How dare you? I built this. I birthed this. How dare you take this away from me? And then when she finally let go, today she will tell you, looking back at her life, she would not trade a day of that life for the life she has now. And so I wonder, because I look back at my life, at the different times in my life where I have been very attached to something, hanging on to something, and then when I finally let go and go, okay, it's not coming back, it's not meant to be, whatever, let go, something better has always shown up. Have any of you ever had something worse show up? Yeah, see, the universe doesn't work that way. You have to have faith and trust. So back to my story. This woman is sitting there, and Mary's talking about creating dreams. That you have to be engaged with the universe. You have to let the universe know what your dream is. Yes, it's intelligent. It could probably read your mind. I don't know. And yet it's supposed to be more powerful if we speak it out loud, if we let people know, if we write it down. There are processes that engage more energy, and that's the intent of these dream building seminars. And this woman raises her hand and stands up. And she's not healthy. I don't have any dreams. And she's crying. Mary calls her up to the stage and said, of course you have dreams. I don't have any dreams. So Mary looks at her and she said, what if you had great health? She said, oh, yeah, I would like great health. I would like great health for me and my husband. And she sat up a little bit. And Mary said, well, what would you do if you had great health? Well, if I had great health, I'd move to New Mexico. I'd buy an adobe house, a real adobe house that was built like in the 40s. And Mary said with each element of her dream, she started to straighten up. Where do you want to go? She said, if you and your husband had this perfect health, you could go wherever you want to, wherever you go. And at this point, Mary laughs a little bit because, Mary has been to India. She's been to Europe. She speaks around the world. And this woman said, Wyoming. I want to go to Wyoming. And Mary was like, oh, okay, Wyoming. Why? I mean, not why like that's silly, but what would you do in Wyoming? And she said, they have places there that you can go take care of animals that have been abused. And I would like to do that for 2 weeks every year. That's my dream. And Mary said by the time she was done, she stood up off the chair, and this woman who'd kind of walked up slow and was standing up straight and walking with intent. A couple of years later, a woman walks up to Mary, and she's smiling, and she's standing up, and she's vibrant. And she looks at Mary, and she said, you don't know who I am, do you? And she said, oh, I know we've met before, and I'm sorry, I meet a lot of people. You look familiar. She goes, I just came back from 2 weeks in Wyoming. Your word is that powerful. And I encourage you, because I said a couple weeks ago to imagine my voice in your head saying, and so it is. I encourage you to really listen to what you're saying about yourself and about your life. Because most of the time when we are speaking about ourselves and about our life, it's on autopilot. And we don't realize how limiting we can be when we say things. And sometimes when we hear it from another person, because it's easy to hear somebody else do it, right? It kind of takes our breath away. We're like, why would you say that about yourself? And I had a person say to me, sometimes I'm afraid to say anything in front of you because I know that you're thinking, why would you say that? And I was like, I'm sorry that you feel that way, because what I know to be true is I say things about myself. We do it automatically. And we do it from a place of what's comfortable. Yesterday I had a great conversation with a gentleman, and we were talking about no matter where our life is right now, if it's not the life that we want, our ego will still try to keep us in that life. Why? Because it's comfortable. For whatever reason, our ego doesn't like change. It likes being stuck, if you will. It likes being comfortable. And so his first response was, banish the ego. And I said, hey, you can't do that. You can't banish your ego. It is part of who you are, and it's gotten you this far through life, right? So instead of banishing it, why not make it a friend? Why not have a conversation with it? Like, wow, thank you. You have gotten me through some tough places in life. And I'm trusting that right now we could do this together. I want to engage you on creating this next great life with me. How many of you actually have a written vision written out somewhere? See, and I'm not going to raise my hand because I don't. And what I am standing up in here and saying to all of you, including myself, is every single one of us should. And it should be at least a 3-year vision out. And I didn't know this, so again, because I'm taking this class right now, I will quote Mary Morrissey. She said that it's proven fact that our egos, if we say something for a year, like this is my vision for a year, how many of us have done year-long vision boards? Our egoic mind, our place of, yeah, that's not going to happen, will scream at us loudly because it knows in a year, it can fathom a year. It can look at a year and go, yeah, probably not. And you might not even be aware that your subconscious mind is playing that card. 3 years, for whatever reason, confuses our little self. And it's like, well, that might be possible. I don't know what's going to happen in 3 years. So I'm making a commitment, and I would like anybody that didn't raise their hand to make a commitment that you write a vision out for yourself. What does your life look like in 3 years? And be bold, because this is how to use it. Be bold. Don't like, oh, maybe I want this. No, this is my life in 3 years. This is my life in 3 years. What does it look like? What does it feel like? Who are you with? Every single one of us has the power to create that. And I can tell you, when she said it, I went, wow, that is true. Because the 2 times that I have really planned something in my life, where I had a vision, where I actually knew where I wanted to be, what I wanted to do, I had it written out. I had a vision board for it. One was to move to Santa Fe. One was to move back to Seattle. Santa Fe, I was going to move there in 2010. I ended up going in 2007. Seattle, I'm not supposed to be here till next year. Oh, thank you, Bernie. Thank you. Me too. Because once you write it down, once you start to talk about it, it becomes real to your cells. And the universe starts to collapse things to make that happen. I got here in May of 2016. That's how quick that happened. And what I knew was the springboard to that was me having the courage to say to my husband, I don't want to live here anymore. I am complete. Beautiful place, beautiful community, not my home. And once I could say that to him, because it had been tumbling around in my mind for quite a while, once I could really say it to him, then the universe was like, okay, now she's serious. Now she's serious. And we talked about when and how it was going to happen. Each one of you has that power. So to create a vision and to make it when you read it out loud or say it out loud, it gives you goosebumps, or if you say it to somebody else, it gives them goosebumps because they could be right there with you. We really are the writer, the director, the producer, and the star in our own place. So how many of you are living a life that is confined, restricted, finite? Right, because we believe, right? We believe this is as good as it gets. We might even believe this is all I deserve. We might believe that, I'm only worthy to have this much, so how could I ask for more? You can ask for more because the universe is infinite and abundant, and you were brought here to express the divine. Each and every one of you we're brought here to express the divine to the fullest. And so how you shake that off is you write that vision down. If you want to make a vision board, make a vision board. The practice that Mary gave us during the class was to share it with somebody. And you literally stand up, and to alternate your reality, you take 4 steps counterclockwise. And then you greet the person as if it's 3 years later. Oh my God. Did you guys know that Paul and I just got back from a month in Italy? I got to go see where my grandfather was born. I walked along those towns through the cliffs that are by the seaside. I ate bread that was delicious. I had gelato in the place I believe it was invented. I think it has changed me, or I know it has changed me as a person, just to go back to some place where an ancestor came from. I had no idea when we went how much that was going to change my life. And have you been to Genesis recently? Have you seen the new space that we live in? The kitchen is amazing, and we have this beautiful setup for hospitality. And it's full every single Sunday. Every chair is full. It's amazing to share that responsibility with another minister. It's amazing to how much people are served by what we have to offer. Do any of you sit there and doubt for a moment? Did anybody not get goosebumps? Because I got goosebumps. I invite you to do that. And some, well, when would I have time? How long did that take? 3 minutes? 2? I gave the group 68 seconds to share their vision with another person. Every morning, if you did that, I promise you, your vision will unfold. And if it doesn't, I don't know. Come talk to me. Give it time, however. Don't do that once and then come and tell me, well, Gayle, that didn't work. Because then what are we doing? We're unhooking our vision. We are unhooking our vision. Know that you deserve more. Imagine your life the biggest you think it could be. Just take a moment right now. Imagine your life as big as it could be. And I will say to each and every one of you, this or something better. More, please. This or something better. We are dealing with a power that created everything, including us. Everything. When we think of our vision, we are thinking with a mind that can only be as big as we allow it to be. That's why it's always good to say this or something better, because I have no idea. Maybe I'm supposed to go to Italy and then Barbados. I don't know. So this or something better. What is it in your life? How to use this? Spiritual practice is the best way to engage with the universe. Spiritual practices, listening, as Anna said this morning in meditation, truly listening to that still small voice from within, truly listening, sitting and listening. If you close right now, there are noises in this room. They call it white noise. But there are different sounds you can listen to. And as you listen, you'll start to feel your body shift. Truly listen. Meditation, and that can be part of the listening. These don't have to be different practices. They sound like, oh my God, she's just taken up my whole day. When am I going to go to work? How am I going to sleep? Listening is part of meditation. Speaking out loud for 68 seconds, we all have 68 seconds. Prayer, whether you know how to pray, if you think you know how to pray or don't think you know how to pray, prayer is anything that you say, thank you, God. Anything that you say. You are constantly engaging the universe. Every single one of us constantly engaging the universe. Thank you, God. How many times have I run into a door? Too many. And I'm so clumsy. Oh, and so it is. Thank you, universe. I had to stop once I started to go through this 4 weeks, because here's literally what would go through my mind. Number one, tripping up these stairs on a Sunday morning. I would sit there and start to think about it. And it dawned on me, you better stop that. Or someday, spread eagle on this stage. Not pretty. The other was coming down my stairs in my house from my bedroom down to the first floor. Because the house was built in 1907, these stairs are kind of steep. And there's many of them. And I used to think, for whatever reason, one of these days I could fall down these stairs. And I was like, okay, erase that. That's not a thought you want to have. If B were here, I think it would be okay. B was talking about she needed rest and relaxation. I don't know exactly what she said. Wasn't it B that got in the wreck? Yeah. She needed rest and relaxation. She got in a really terrible car wreck. And she needed to, literally, because she had a concussion. I had another friend who talked about she really needed to take time off from work. She went skiing and blew out her knee. And some of you may think, well, it's just an accident. Seriously? I believe that we're that powerful. That if we really need something in our life, that we will call it forth one way or the other. And so be mindful of what you say. Be mindful of how you engage the universe. So the other spiritual practice, as far as I'm concerned, sit with a practitioner. Even if it's just after service for a prayer. Feel what it's like to be in front of somebody that actually looks at you and sees past the physical form into the heart of who you are, into the essence of your truth. So how to use it? Engage it. You're using it right now. With every thought that is crossing through your mind, you're using it. Why wouldn't you want to have more powerful thoughts? Why wouldn't you want a better outcome? How many of us get stuck in saying the same thing about something all the time? Be it a relationship, be it our job. We're not happy, and we're going to tell everybody we're not happy. And what the universe is saying to you, yes. Obviously, this is your heart's desire. So be mindful. I think that's the lesson most about how to use it. Be mindful of how you speak, what you say. Because the universe, it's that bug that's always listening. It's recording what we say, and it's always saying back to us, yes. So you get to pick up the needle, move it over, and create a new groove. Create the life that your heart desires. And I love my life. And it's way different than it was a mere 3 years ago. And so for me, it's, I love my life. More, please. It can be that big. Like, bring it on. I'm ready. So let's pray. So we stand here, or I stand here, y'all sit, or you can stand if you want to, in this magnificent quantum soup of the divine. Each and every one of us, powerful, powerful beyond what we believe about ourselves. Each one of us, that which always has been and always will be, we are that in form. Each one of us, co-creating always with what we say, how we behave, how we act or react. And so what I know right here and right now is that each one of us becomes very mindful of how we speak about ourselves and about others. Each one of us becomes that center of uplifting good, knowing the best for ourselves, knowing the best for all of those around us. Each one of us steps away from that finite view of this is all there is, this is all there's ever going to be. We break out of that shell and realize that beyond this human self, inside this container that we have housed ourselves in, is that light of God that wants to shine so brightly and do so much. And all we have to do is engage. And so I know for each one of us, we engage at the level we are comfortable engaging at. We say to the universe, bring it on, I'm ready. We open all of those doors, all of those windows. We kick down the walls if necessary to truly let in the light of God, which is the light of who we are, at the very core of our beingness. And as we let that light in, we have the courage to say this or something better. More, please. I'm ready. And so with that, I just say thank you. Thank you for holding and knowing this vision for myself and for everyone else. Thank you for allowing me the space and the time to know how to use it and to use it to the best of my ability. Knowing that for myself, I know it for everyone else as I turn these words over, knowing that as it is spoken, it is done already. In the mind of God, it is manifested into form. My only job is to open up and receive. And so that's what I do. I open up to receive, as I know for myself, I know for each one of you. And as we do so, we let go and let God, and together we say, and so it is. Namaste.